Good afternoon, MOSHAPE members. My name is Chris Stehle, board member and your weekly host of the MOSHAPE Minute. I'm super excited as I am joined by a very special guest. Again, this is the second time on the show. I now have a new nickname for him. His name is The Big Deal. It's Sean Nevills. Sean, how you doing today?
Hey, good, Chris, good. The big deal, huh? That's what we're going to go with.
Hey, I mean, with this news we're sharing today, I think you kind of are the big deal. So, Sean, for those that really don't know you, kind of here at the beginning of this show, can you kind of share a little bit? I mean, you don't have to get into details about like where you're from or stuff, but kind of tell us your journey of, because your new role is huge at the national level. Okay, we'll kind of break that now. You've accepted a new role with Shape America. You're contracted through Shape America, and you're the program manager for the CDC COVID-19 project. And you know it's a big deal. Kind of share with our guests kind of how you got to the point you're at now.
So, just a quick story on the journey, man. My journey into health and physical education started back when I was in Missouri State. And obviously, I played sports most of my life up until that point. But I'm a graduate of Missouri State University in their health and physical education program in the Department of Kinesiology. And then also I stuck around, got my master's in sports management. From there, I taught in Columbia, Missouri. I was an adaptive physical education teacher, a football coach. Then, hop over to Springfield, become a head coach, and continue to do health and physical education, but also did curriculum work and equity work. I was an administrator, a middle school administrator for a short time, but really just loved the community that health and physical education is, and particularly in Missouri. So when the opportunity came and I saw the director of health and physical education job open up with DESE, I just said, that's me. I claimed that for myself, and the rest is history, man. I started back in 2019, and then COVID happened pretty shortly after. I started back in December, school started to close in March, so not a lot of time, but from there, man, we created our teams, we created our cadres across the state. We have, great work through with Laura Missouri Healthy Schools, Tom and you all at MOSHAPE, and we mobilized. We mobilized our health and physical education community, which led to this point and this opportunity to Shape America.
So, you kind of talked about your background and before we started recording, and I tell people this all the time, Sean, for some of the things you've done for the whole physical education realm in the state of Missouri, and now you're going to start at the national level. You're very humble as far as what you've accomplished. You're like, nah, man, that's just, and I think one thing people need to understand is you're one of those people that you work for the people. You said before the show, when there's a void that needs to be filled, I want to try and fill it. And that's one thing I want to mention here. Our executive director, Tom Lowry, sent out an email earlier this past week talking about some of your accomplishments. And for those that don't know, you are on the MOSHAPE board of directors because you are the former director of health and physical education at the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education level. And now you've moved on to a different role, but as of right now, you're still on the board. And there's one thing that stuck out to me. It says, Dr. Lowry said, during Sean's tenure at DESE, and as a MOSHAPE board member, he compiled an in-depth and current catalog of resources for teachers in health and physical education to have access to. He served on a number of MOSHAPE positions, including the board of directors, as previously mentioned, workshop creator and presenter, and as the co-chair of the new MOSHAPE Task Force of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. For those of us who have been privileged to work with him as a trusted and respected colleague, he has assured us all he will continue to live and work in Missouri. And that's kind of interesting because you're going to a national level. And, you and I talked a couple days ago when we were on a different show of what does this look like for you and your family and all that moving forward. And you said, I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here at home in Missouri. So was that kind of a big part of you taking this position, or were you willing to do what you needed to do to take this position?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. At being a coach, we've moved around a lot. I've moved my family from one spot to another because of great opportunities. Well, fortunately with this great opportunity with Shape America, I still get to stay in my home state. And I still, in some ways that, I'm needed, I still get to do work for this state. I get to serve this state and keep doing that work. And I want to tell you about those resources you talked about. Just, just like I was saying, man, that's a team effort. That, yeah, I'm leading that charge, but I have great facilitators, Brad Brummel from Springfield Public Schools, Sally Schulte from Wentzville, and Dr. Patrick Fine from Rockwood School District. So I have, I love to mobilize people to work together. That's what it's about. That's the mentality I always keep. And I appreciate you saying I'm humble, man. But, I love to mobilize people and get the people working for what's right. What do we want as health and physical educators? And we want the best for our students. And I keep that passion no matter who I'm talking to or who I'm working for.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you still get to work for your home state. As of right now, you're still on our board of directors, and we're hoping, Doc Lowry, if you're watching, we got to keep this guy on the board with us. Hey, you could join my committee if needed with marketing communications. But you also are still contracted with Mo Healthy Schools, and for those that don't really know, Mo Healthy Schools is actually where Spaker Spot started, the Stuck at Home Recess, and then we've also got our Stuck at Home Snacks and all that. And for those that don't know, you actually kind of started this. You did actually start the Stuck at Home Recess. You did 2 or 3 episodes yourself, and then you said, you know what, I went out and found some talent and found the Spaker Spot girls. But you were kind of pivotal in getting the CDC grant for those shows, because for those that don't know, the CDC does fund those shows with the Spaker Spots and the Stuck at Home with snacks and stuff with Lisa Farmer. So that is a huge thing that people need to realize that you've also done for this state is getting that CDC grant. Kind of tell us how that came about as far as the Stuck at Home Recess and Spaker Spot and the CDC grants and all that.
I always want to make sure I honor the people that, yes, I'm a part of that team as well, but Laura's the head of that, man. She's the reason I got on with DESE, right? And, I owed it to her to make sure I did everything that was asked of me and more. But, when we got to the time and school started to close and COVID became a reality of what was moving forward, I was a part of that team with Guy Danoff, with Laura Beckman and other people, Lisa Farmer, to create some resources and give hope to those that are stuck at home. That's why we called it Stuck at Home Recess, Stuck at Home Snacks, Stuck at Home Schools, because we wanted to give people the opportunity to still be physically active, to still care about their well-being, be it nutrition, be it physical activity, while they're stuck at home, and teachers are trying to create these resources and enter this new realm of education they've never been a part of. And so, it started with that stuck at home premise. So, we came together. It took a couple of weeks to get it up and running, but once we started getting these live shows going, man, it just really took off. And I did the first couple of weeks, and then knew that I was still needed elsewhere. So I had to find some talent. And lo and behold, I see these 2 ladies from Belton, Missouri, and I look at their YouTube videos and I see their energy. I get their vibe, and I'm like, this is it right here. So I talked to them first. Then I talked to our team, and lo and behold, Megan Baker and Christy Spears are now a part of the team. They're going to continue to do great work for Missouri and hopefully, a greater audience as we start reopening schools.
Yeah, it's funny because I still remember one of the episodes you did, and you had them tossing socks in a basket or something, and I was loving it. And I was just,
oh man, that's the Stuck at Home Olympics. That was a good one. That was, we did the floor hockey one too. That one got competitive. The kids were banging all through the garage, man, but that was fun. I had fun doing it, but I knew I was needed in other places. And thank you, Spaker Spot, Megan Baker, Christy Spears, for coming on and being a part of that and just taking that to the next level.
Yeah, I think one thing people could take away, you look at kind of where you're at in your career now, the greatest thing about it all is you said at the beginning of the show, you started off as just an everyday physical education teacher, going out, teaching your kids, going out, coaching football, like most of the people, the audience watching this, and I think that's why we at MOSHAPE and at Mo Healthy Schools and everybody's so proud of you, is because you're one of us. You're an actual physical educator moving up and speaking for physical education teachers and health teachers all around the state. And I tell my friends all the time, even people saying, hey, going back to work, the reentry guidelines, all that, people are really nervous. I said, hey, well, I've got a really good friend of mine. I'm glad to call you friend. He works at the DESE level, now obviously moving up to the Shape America level. I said, if you have questions, let me know, or you could ask him. And that's one thing we're going to miss, but I don't think we'll miss as far as I think you're still going to be there for us. I know you said that before the show. You want to still be here for the state. So, but one thing about you, Sean, is you've always been helpful for us at the state level, which leads me to our final question of, with this national level position now, kind of tell the audience, like, what is your role going to be as far as what are you expected to do / like, why did you want to do this? Like, kind of share with us why you wanted to fill this position now.
Well, yeah, real quick, back to that point you just talked about is leadership, man. We want to be able to touch our leaders no matter who they are. You know, when I was an assistant coach, I wanted to make sure I had that relationship with, you know, the head coach. When I was a teacher, I wanted to make sure I had a relationship and be able to, you know, be a part of what that administrator was doing. So, you know, be it Missouri or the nation, man, I want to be a leader that you can connect with. And, you know, and I just try to be authentically me. So I appreciate that. And you're my friend too, man. We're going to keep riding this thing for our state and for our nation. But, you know, the job ahead now. So, you know, now I'm program manager with Shape America during this time where schools are reopening. So it's about the whole scope of what health and physical education is and can be. We know how it benefits the social emotional well-being of students. Let's take that now to self-care for staff and teachers and administrators, because as we're getting closer and closer to that time of schools reopening, you can see, especially on social media, just a lot of the tension that teachers are facing and they're having to deal with. So how can we help those teachers who help those students? How can we give them the resources to take care of themselves? Because we can't be the best for those students if we're not the best for ourselves. We have to worry about and take care of ourselves, our families, and then our communities and students and the other families. So the self-care piece of it. And then building those trauma-informed and culturally responsive schools through our health and physical education curriculum. How can we evolve our curriculum as health and physical educators to be trauma sensitive, to think about the whole child, recognizing the experiences, the different cultural and ethnic experiences of our students, and just, you know, just those pieces and aspects of it evolving, like I said, man, evolving health and physical education to what it can be is the biggest part of this job. And I'm just fortunate to be on and helping that, and then working with other partners, national partners now, and creating that need, not creating the need, but filling the need as schools reopen. And once again, just being that champion for health and physical education. And then also making sure, you know, a good part of this work too is equity, diversity, and inclusion, making sure we're meeting the needs of as many communities, especially those communities disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 through our work. So just a lot of great work ahead, man. And I'm glad to be on board to do it with Shape America.
Wow. Well, you could tell Shaw was a football coach, because I'm ready to run through a brick wall now. That, you know, I tell myself when I interview Sean Nevills, think of all the things you could ask him, and I just ask you one or two things and you address everything. So, Sean, we're wrapping up the show here. Is there one final thought you want to share with the audience? Just kind of, you know, you've always got this way. I mean, you kind of wrapped up real well there, but one final thought you want to share with the audience before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, I'm an educator by trade, but I'm in the business of service. And, you know, whether it's the state of Missouri, whether it's for Shape America, I'm always going to be here to serve no matter what the role is. So please, 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 please reach me at Shape America, reach me through MOSHAPE. But we've said this before, we're not alone in this. We're just not alone as educators. So we have to be able to lean on one another and be able to contact our leaders that are there for us. And I hope that, you know, I hope you feel comfortable enough in me being your leader to help you through this, and everybody else at Shape America, because, you know, we're here to help each other. And as President Brett Fuller says, #stronger together.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you joining the show. Mr. Big Deal himself now in the MOSHAPE and Mo Healthy Schools world. Sean, I just wish you the best, buddy, and I know we'll stay in contact. Thank you for joining us. To the audience, I do have another special announcement. Missouri, MOSHAPE, we are going to announce our Teacher of the Year award winners this week, actually coming out today. I will be posting one a day on our social media websites of the different Teacher of the Year award winners, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, we have a week full of shows as we always do. Just so stay tuned for those, and everybody have a great week.